How's it going, everyone? We've got quite a few PlayStation updates to go over in this video. A bit of an update on the Stellar Blade news, as they are teasing some sort of horror-themed DLC or crossover event. And that information should be officially revealed this week, and with the rumblings of a State of Play, Stellar Blade been a focus of State of Play for a plethora of them. The PC version, I believe, was officially revealed at a State of Play. The game got its big rollout at a State of Play last year that I thought was really well done. It's been a consistent fixture at these State of Play events, and announcing some sort of DLC or crossover event at the State of Play I think will get people excited. A lot of people actually brought forth a crossover that's happening in one of Shift Up's game, Project Nikke, that might also lead to something happening with Stellar Blade, but it does seem like it's some sort of horror-themed event. Also, October's next month, Halloween. Makes a lot of sense. We'll talk about that. Yakuza Director's Cut looks to be making its way on over to PlayStation 5. Look, the price point seems to be absolutely insane, so I would not recommend you to pick it up at launch at the price point, but it'll eventually go on sale and it might be worthwhile to check out there. And based on trophies, it looks like yet another classic Tomb Raider game is coming to PlayStation. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, I do want to quickly give you guys a note that Stellar Blade is getting some sort of reveal this week. They attached an image that very much had a horror-themed vibe. I initially thought that it could have been some sort of crossover promotion with Silent Hill F, given that it's coming out this week, and maybe it can be. I would definitely think that it would behoove Konami to do some sort of crossover like that to increase promotion of Silent Hill F, although I think that game will do fairly well. A lot of you guys brought to my attention that Project Nikke, Shift Up's other major game, is doing a Resident Evil crossover. So the fact is, if they're already working with Capcom and they've gotten a deal done for Resident Evil and Project Nikke, Stellar Blade, it could end up being some sort of Resident Evil crossover. I've made my opinion known. Look, the crossovers are cool. However, I would like just a semblance of content, meaningful content tied to it. It doesn't have to be a 6-hour expansion, but I think a 30 to 45 minute section that's thematically in line with the crossover, I think that would just add quite a lot and would get more people to spend the $9.99, $11.99, however much they want to price it at. You know, I get that that would require a little bit more work, and maybe they don't have the manpower to divide the work between the sequel, crossover content, etc., but I do think it would give people more excitement, because I think at a certain level, when you continually do crossovers, they're always going to have interest to it, but I think at a certain point, it is going to be diluted and people are going to be like, oh, whatever, it's another crossover. But even if it's a small level, a small zone that you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. You get the stylish Stellar Blade gameplay and it's not just crossover content that is cosmetic. I think that would just give it a little bit more oomph and people would be more excited for it. That's my 2 cents, especially if you're talking about a horror thematic attached to it. I think a, 25, 30, 40-minute level or a zone that is thematically tied to the content, the horror theme, I think that would go a long way and people would check it out. I think that would do very, very well, especially with Halloween right around the corner. That's just my 2 cents. Again, maybe easier said than done, but I would go that route. All right, moving on from that, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut was one of the Switch 2 launch titles, and it did include some new content, new cutscenes, a multiplayer component as well. The price was kind of hefty at $49.99, but now it looks like Yakuza 0 Director's Cut will be making its way to PlayStation 5. Now, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, it wasn't noted whether or not this is going to have some sort of upgrade path. And let me just say, if it doesn't have an upgrade path, I would not recommend you to spend $45, $50, whatever it ends up being. Now, the report specifically notes 49.99 euros and 44.99. That to me makes it sound like it would be like digitally 44.99. Maybe it'll be a gimmick of Plus subscribers get it for $45 and then the physical release is $50. I don't know. But again, the base Yakuza 0 game, while it doesn't have English voice acting, while it's going to be missing some of the cutscenes, it goes on sale for like $12 or $11, around that range. I know some people say it goes on sale for $4.99. It used to go on sale for $4.99. It no longer really goes on sale for $4.99. Sega realized that they have something with Yakuza, and they're like, all right, buddy, you ain't going to be getting Yakuza 0 anymore for $4.99. Pay up at least a little bit and pay the $11, $12. Yakuza 0 is outstanding for a lot lot of people, it's their favorite Yakuza game, and it is a prequel to Yakuza 1, and a lot of people really, really love the game. I thought it was phenomenal, but it already runs at 60 frames per second, I believe, so not really that big of a deal to get the director's cut at this price point. I think English voice acting is a big deal, especially with Yakuza Kiwami 3 probably gonna have English voice acting right out the gate, because that's been the norm for the RGG titles, you know, Judgment, Lost Judgment, Yakuza, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, the Like a Dragon games. They've added English voice acting across the board, and I think it's a big deal for the newcomers and a newer audience to be engaged into this game to have English voice acting. I know for some of you guys that sounds like absolute blasphemy, but I do think it's a big deal. But is it a $50 big deal? No, it absolutely is not. But the fact is, the director's cut coming out on PlayStation and ultimately going on sale, whether that be for $14.99, $19.99, could end up as a Plus title. You know, at that point, it'll be cool. But at the full price point, absolutely no. Scoff at that. It's just one thing when it came out on Switch 2. Okay, it's the first time it's available on Switch 2. I still thought the $50 price tag was way too high, but whatever, I can understand that. On PlayStation 5, absolutely not. I cannot recommend that whatsoever at that price point, but still cool to see that come out. Lastly, I do want to note Tomb Raider Anniversary trophies have leaked online. That is the 2007 Tomb Raider game, PS4 trophies of that, and True Trophies is listing that, and it is a port. Chances are that is going to be coming on to the PlayStation catalog, and you know, every time I see some sort of news on Tomb Raider and it's just a classic Tomb Raider game, whether it be, you know, the 1 through 6 remastered titles, etc., I'm just like, buddy, why has Tomb Raider been benched for this long? Look, I like seeing the classic Tomb Raider games, and I know some people absolutely love the classic Tomb Raider games, even more so than the newer titles. You know, I can't understand that, but hey, more power to people that have that opinion. I just absolutely love the newer Tomb Raider games, and the fact that this franchise has been benched for like 7 years after the success of the origin story reboot, whatever you want to call it, and I feel like Tomb Raider got so much steam behind it after that trilogy. It's just crazy to me. Lara Croft is one of the most iconic characters in all of gaming. She should not be benched for like damn near a decade. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I think it's crazy. And hopefully, maybe Game Awards of this year will finally get some sort of insight on the next Tomb Raider game, and maybe that'll be coming out in 2026. It's just insane to me that Tomb Raider's been benched for this long. And I get it that Crystal Dynamics was working on a plethora of other games. They were involved in the Perfect Dark game that's been canceled. They were involved in Marvel's Avengers, but a studio at the talent level of Crystal Dynamics as well. Man, them not putting anything compelling out for so long, also incredibly depressing, but at the very least, I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent. Tomb Raider Anniversary looks to be coming to PS4, and it probably will be a PS2 on PS4 Classics title, potentially on the PlayStation Plus Premium catalog, so we'll see about that. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a bit of an update on the Stellar Blade crossover that is being teased, potentially some sort of Resident Evil crossover, given that, again, Project Nikke is having its crossover event with Resident Evil going on, or that already happened. So Shift Up worked with Capcom before. That makes a lot of sense. We should be getting an official confirmation this week, and hopefully that state of play will be coming as well. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut looks to be coming to PlayStation 5 in December. Definitely would not be paying that $50, $45, whatever it ends up being, but, you know, still pretty cool. I think English voice acting in Yakuza 0 is a big deal, even though some people are going to scoff at it. And PlayStation trophies for Tomb Raider Anniversary have leaked online. Chances are that'll be coming here in the near future. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.